Adam. We're good. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Village of Ruidoso Workshop Meeting. If you will, let's go ahead and stand for a moment of silence, and then we'll salute the flag. Pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
All right. Hope everybody got a restful Labor Day weekend. Thank you very much. Can we have a roll call, please, ma'am?
Good morning, Mayor Crawford.
Here.
Councilor Eby.
Here.
Councilor Letterman. Here. Councilor Salas.
Here.
Councilor Hooker.
Here.
Councilor Corey.
Here.
Councilor Jackson is absent.
All right. We're going to get started. Item number 1 is discussion on approval of certificate of destruction.
This certificate of destruction is going to have several police records and then records from the clerk's office that have met their retention period for destruction.
Consent.
Consent. Okay.
Yep.
Just number 2, discussion on adoption of resolution 2024-40, a resolution adopting the infrastructure capital improvement plan ICIP for 2026 to 2030.
Mayor, Council, this is the annual ICIP plan that will be submitted to the Department of Transportation. We were provided an extension till next week, next Friday. Following the council meeting, we'll submit the resolution, and with our 10 projects, we usually have the 10 projects are listed on there. If council would just glance over that and see, we've moved some of the projects up dealing with flooding and bridges and additional bridges and some of the projects. Workforce housing, and also some of the projects that Christella and Ashley are working on with the Water Trust Board. So those are top priorities also, and it's with, so.
Mayor, question for Ron. Ron, this list, and I haven't looked at these in years, but this list seems really long.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, we've there's a lot of projects on there, been on there for several years. What we do is just continue to include them in there until they're funded, and then they're removed off the list.
Okay, so, and if I may, Zach, a question for you. How do the legislators look at this list? Do they have pet projects or?
Do they have what, sorry?
Pet projects
They
or?
can. It always, every year when I was there, it came down to a time, during the session where we had to get it done. And they would gather us all the southeastern people in, and there'd be a lot of horse trading. Not a whole lot of horse trading, like I would do as much as I could, and I think everybody pretty much did that. But then, everybody ends up with some money that they hadn't used, and maybe their neighbor has a project, whether it's everybody tries to keep it in their district, but it's just a lot of bartering, trying to get people to come together to get with, you get the senator of your district or whenever there's crossover and put as much money to hopefully fund projects. I don't know if this is making sense or.
No, it is. I'm just curious if we shoot ourselves in the foot by having too long a wish list.
Well, it's the top 5.
Yeah, we
Yes.
prioritize.
Yes.
Yeah, we go the top 5, and then to be even considered, they have to be on a list that we work on. And so if something comes open, because we get calls all the time, and we had the sidewalk project, remember that? Right. And there was extra money, and it was on our list, we were able to throw it on. But our top 5 are the ones that we go after.
And Mayor Crawford, Councilor Corey, anytime there's a grant application, a lot of requirements, is that on the ICIP list? So we make sure when we have the discussions with staff and departments that what do you anticipate you might be, applying for? We want to make sure it's on the ICIP list.
I think communicating the fact that, you're focusing on the top 5, because I got a call you know, do we have a $20 million recreation center when there's all these other infrastructure needs? I would suggest we have this on the regular agenda and have some introductory comments about
Sure.
how we approach this.
Well, and to approach it, and we've explained this so many times and still don't understand, we have the comprehensive plan, which the whole city, and then we break it down into master plan. That's where that, you were just talking about.
Yeah.
So it has to be going through the process to even make it. And then you get people that in times of strife, it's like, oh my God, why are you spending $1 million on this when you could put it on a bridge? They don't understand the whole process, so try as we might.
And again,
Try as we may.
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Corey, like last year, you know, we were all we received in capital outlay was 500,000 for forest thinning, and that was not even one of our top priorities, but we went ahead and, you know,
Took it.
Yeah.
so.
Sure.
But-
Yeah, I think if we could maybe explain this a little bit.
Sure.
Is this park signage project, is that the wayfinding? Is that what we've been talking about for 5 years to
I don't think so. It's already
to
started.
show where everything is?
No, that project, that is not, Mayor and council. So the park signage project, it's been on there for years. It's just the re-signage for all of our parks. The wayfinding signage is not that one. So, however, are seeking funding for wayfinding signage.
Okay.
But she's right. I mean, we worked in conjunction with RMA.
I
Have we ever
thought
got
were
anywhere on
gonna
that?
do Nothing.
Have you seen that?
When I first started, I know we were talking about wayfinding, but we haven't done anything with it in a while, and so I'll follow
Check
back
on that,
up on
because
that.
RMA had gone out for a grant too, and we were making sure it matched up the same signage. But she's right. I thought we'd already jumped that hurdle. We need to see if we can find out on that.
We'll do.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, so that's going to go on discussion on regular.
Do we need to, are we going to talk then about what we feel like should prioritize, or the 5
Yeah,
projects?
that's
Yes,
what. yeah,
that's what, well,
Okay.
that way
Yeah, that's
everyone.
what he wants to clarify. And then we presented a list of the top 5 and a few others at the IFC meeting, LFC, and then we're going to be at the LFC in Las Cruces in a week or two. I forgot when that is.
Thank you.
We'll discuss it again. Okay. Item number 3, discussion on approval to request a public hearing on October the 8th for proposed ordinance 2024-06, ordinance granting certain rights and privileges to Telerosa Telecom Communications, Inc., its successors, and assigns the non-exclusive franchise license right and privilege to construct, erect, operate, and maintain its telecommunications business with the limits in the village of Ruidoso. Everybody got that one? Consent.
Yep.
Consent, yes.
And those guys are really good. I know they got it rough right now. Item number 4, discussion on amendment to Resolution 2024-33, resolution authorizing and approving the submission of a completed grant loan application for financial assistance to the New Mexico Finance Authority Water Trust Board for the re-drilling of Hollywood Well for fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $763,597.23. The Village of Ruidoso will provide a local match of $40,189.33 for the total project cost of $803,786.56. And yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. This is just an amendment to the resolution that was passed during last council meeting. Our match went down to 5% instead of the original 10% we were requesting for this project.
And the Water Trust Board's flush, and so we're going after it.
Getting that.
Great.
What do you want this on, ladies and gentlemen?
Consent.
Consent? Okay, the next few are all very similar. They're all Water Trust Board. So item number 5 is the amendment resolution, which will be 2024-31, grant loan for the Alto Lake Dam Spillway Flood Routing Analysis and Spillway Design for fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $250,000, no cents. The Village of Ruidoso will provide a match of $12,500 for a total project cost of $237,500. Can you explain that project just a little bit?
Yeah, so this project will reevaluate that Alto Lake Dam, the spillway, just make sure it's it's designed appropriately, it's undersized right now, and so this will make sure that it's brought up to the correct size for the Dam Safety Bureau, and will also make sure that the flood routing is big enough to bypass if we ever need to bypass like we were having to do this summer.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir?
Ashley, is this just to look at it and say, this is what you need to do to make it right?
This will be the design.
Okay, this isn't the going out and fixing it.
Redoing.
Got it.
It's just $250,000 for a little peaky.
Yeah, they go, oh, you need to go spend another $250,000.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. Consent?
Yes.
Can I put in the 2 bits on that? I'd like it on regular so we can discuss this.
Okay.
Because I've had the comment from Little Bear, it was redone back then, and the spillway was redesigned to handle flooding. And that's where I just want to say, okay, it might be enhanced. Talking to Randy, they're looking at putting another, or while AOE com is
Oh,
the engine. Oh, yeah, they're doing the engineering, is that right?
I believe so.
So that way we could just have more input or more receiving knowledge on all of that. Because
Is this something that Ashley, our water specialists decide that we better do something like this, or is it?
It was called out from the Dam Safety Bureau that we
Right.
need to do this. They actually wrote a letter of recommendation citing the urgency of this project to Water Trust Board. Randy is actively going out for funding from another source, but this is a backup funding for us as well. Just in case that one doesn't work, we have funding one way or the other to get this done.
Was this because of the flood?
No, this has
Okay.
always been
Okay.
undersized.
Okay.
So Mayor and Council, I just want to clarify that 4, 5, 6, and 7 were all approved at the last council meeting.
Yeah.
So it'll just be, like you said, I guess some more discussion, clarification on the project.
that's what, at least these 2 items, because I got 6 too, because finally we're telling people we're burying that line.
Oh, yeah, the
That
anaconda.
anaconda line and stuff, and
And it's
just,
gonna be
just
new.
to put it out, that's kind of the purpose for these 2 items.
Okay.
But the rest, I'm okay with consent.
Okay, and y'all heard that the Alto Lake is not as in bad a shape as we thought, water?
No, didn't
Yep.
hear that.
Yeah, so it's, we were really concerned about all that, but we got tests back. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, Chris.
Since we're here, I thought y'all'd like to know, because I know y'all are getting asked like I am.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. From what I understand, Randy sent some water samples off to the state laboratory for testing. We got results back, and it looks like there's less contamination than what we thought. Most of everything was below the standard, so we're going to continue to test, but that means that maybe we won't have such a long wait to be able to utilize Alto well again. But, Alto Lake again, but we're just trying to get everything situated so we know exactly what our situation is and what we need to do next to open up.
But
the
it's
lake.
still closed. Nobody.
Yep,
It's still
it's still closed for now.
We know everything.
Yeah.
Because we still have to dredge out, the duck pond and do all that other stuff
Yes.
before we
But
can.
we were having FEMA specialists and Chevron, because they do a lot of water, and Chevron donated some money to Ruidos or whatever, and they're going to do more with this. We're going after corporate sponsorships, and they specialize in water, whatever, so I'd ask them to look at it, and then we came back with this report, so that's great, because it was going to be super expensive to pump it out, and so that's good. So, all right, thank you, ladies.
Does the fish survive, or? That's a good sign.
Yeah, they'll call them, instead of mud cats, they're fire cats, or, did y'all see that big one that they caught?
Oh, my gosh.
It was kind of ugly one, and that's some good eating. And so everybody understands the anaconda, the one on the bottom, so, man,
For sure we're
6
gonna-
million. Well, we get the
We're
money.
gonna do
We
it.
If we get the money.
Get the money, then it'd be buried, so.
Isn't that, this price here including a new line?
Yes,
That's what I understood.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be all new infrastructure and buried.
Is that gonna be 12-inch ID like it was, gonna
Well, we're
be?
gonna pay for that, and then we're gonna get,
Get 10-inch ID.
yep. That's what happened last time. But, they're doing a good job on removing debris. Y'all hadn't been by there?
Well, the road is closed.
I haven't seen it closed. They had it.
On Grindstone?
No, it's
It's
been
not closed
open.
now?
They just had one day.
Yesterday.
Oh, just the one?
Well, they had it closed for just a short time, but then they just decided to keep it open.
Once you close it, I bypass it.
But they've got most all that cleared out. I mean, they're doing a good job. So, Babwa will be happy. Okay, item number 7 is also Water Trust Board. And this one is on the design and construction of tank restoration Phase 3 for fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $5,144,298.48. Our local match is $907,817.38 for a total project cost of $6,052,115.86. And so,
This will help to replace the remainder of the tanks that weren't covered under Phase 1 and Phase 2, as well as the clear wells.
and our match is from,
SGRT, right?
Yeah, this match will, actually, we're doing some extra searching.
We're trying to figure that out right now. We've got, when they have the call for projects, we put in everything that we could think of, but when we look down at the actual match, we're trying to prioritize what we can do. We have funds in SGRT, but it's not as robust as we'd like it to be because we've been working on a lot of projects. So based on what I work out with Judy, we'll see if we can put this project through, but we wanted to get the resolution passed just in case we have the funds available to us.
okay. Everybody? Pleasure, consent?
Consent, yeah.
Item number 8, also another Water Trust Board, Water Project Fund, NMFA, total amount of $3,645,695, including loan in the amount of $546,855 for Country Club subdivision water line replacement.
This is just securing the final funding of the loan grant agreement through NMFA to secure the funding for Adams project, Country Club subdivision. This will allow him to go ahead and move forward and start replacing the water lines.
And Mayor Council will be working with Sauter Miller and getting this project bid out. So this will be a great project that have a lot of that AC line there, water line, and be able to get that, just like we did at Pine Cliff. It's going to be another great project.
Okay? Consent?
Yes. Consent. Now, here's a question. Because we're submitting so many applications in there, they come back to you guys or to us on how will we prioritize these?
Actually, we don't do the full application until we can demonstrate that we have the grant or the match. So if we
Right.
don't have it, then we don't move forward with everything, the whole process. We just stop and say, hey, we can only prioritize these 3 or 4 projects. But we wanted to put in.
Placeholder.
Placeholder, just in case.
Just the placeholder to have it in there.
Yes, but we
But-
won't waste their time. I mean, we don't want to get to the point where they award it and then we don't have the funds.
Yeah.
Now, for me personally is, I would say Hollywood Well will be number 1 and then the, Country Club subdivision number 2. I mean, just from looking at all of that.
Country Club, those funds have already been secured. That was from last year.
So that's already
So this
done.
is just to finalize the
Okay.
agreement, that those funds are already ready to go.
So I didn't know that.
Because there's so much money allocated to Water Trust Fund this year that we've been told through the municipal league, AJ's on that board, and at all the meetings we're in, he's telling everybody, load up, because there's money, get it while the getting's good, so we're gonna get it while the getting's
It was just the thought that came up because like I said, everybody's putting it in there, you know, that'll be the,
But that's what's so surprising is most people don't.
don't, you know.
Because they're not shovel-ready either.
And they don't
that's-
have
that's
the
true, too.
matching. So, anyway, item number 9 is discussion. There's Judy. Number 9, discussion on, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
And then if we can discuss a little bit later on our deal here, we made some progress on that. Excellent. Thank you. That deal's still moving.
What deal?
Cream Meadows water. Item number 9, discussion on agreement with Eco Servants, or as the com would say, Echo. Always love that. For professional services for community partnership improvement projects and services in the amount of $12,400, including New Mexico GRT. I don't know how they do so much,
I don't either.
I don't either.
but they do.
We're the mayor and council, so this is our annual agreement we have with Eco Servants. They do a lot of projects for us. They, you know, they redo or they dye, what do you call it? The Kids Connection. They redo the down Kids Connection. They do all of the flower beds for us in Midtown. They work on trails for us. Honestly, it's a lot of the manual labor jobs that we just don't have the people and the time for that they step in and help us with. So this is that agreement that helps cover that cost.
Yeah.
Has Stephen done a presentation?
He usually does one at least once a year, but I'd like them to come in and just let people know what they do.
Yeah, because they do so much.
But he's grown that thing pretty good, so.
Matt, talking about Kids Connection, I made the mistake of taking my grandson there Saturday and the mud was just horrible. Is there any way we can drop gravel in the front?
It's something we can definitely look at. And,
I mean, getting from the parking lot to the front entrance, it was just a sea of mud.
yeah, we can work on that.
That must have flooded on Thursday when,
Because a lot of our areas are like that right now.
Mr. Mayor, Council, the flooding, especially when the last flood that was right there on Meacham and White Meadow, I mean, it's taken out that whole trail, but right now we're pretty short of people, but we have noticed that.
Yeah.
I mean, even the trail around the soccer fields is really bad, so
Yeah.
we're looking at, getting some stuff and getting that.
Great. Good. Good to have you back, Tebow.
Are you back, or?
He's light duty.
Light duty.
Yeah, I see him limping
behave.
around.
Yelled at all the
Yeah, slacker.
I'm about to put a seatbelt on his office chair.
Okay, so we're gonna have this one on regular. Item number 10, purchase of a 2025 Chevrolet Silverado MD 5500 landscaping truck with dump bed from Tillery Chevrolet utilizing CES contract 2024-23, C116 all in the amount of $99,810.00.
Mayor and council, this is a truck that we budgeted for this last budget season. This is our current flatbed is aging, and so this will be to help in our fleet. This one has a dump bed on it, so it has about 1 foot tall metal sides all the way around it, and those metal sides will actually fold flat, and so we can still load on the side of it, but they're reinforced sides to help us haul gravel and small things like that. It will also have a lift gate on the back of it, a Tommy lift on the back of it, and so that will allow us to lift things up with Tommy lift style also.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm really concerned with our gross receipts tax coming up in the next few months and stuff. How urgent do you need this vehicle?
So they're on a year out order. And so it takes about 10 to 12 months to get it.
To get it there?
To get it in.
Do you have to prepay?
No, we'll have the PO, but it won't be paid for until we receive the truck, so.
Okay, because that's what I was saying, if we delayed it to mid-year in January, so that way we could get a better picture of what our revenue is for general fund. And I talked to the mayor about this last week, that if it's there, but if it's urgent, that you're needing it.
So the problem with ordering it mid-year is it would extend it about 6-month delivery time because they order fleet trucks once a year.
Okay.
Like Chevrolet, like these big companies, they'll put in fleet trucks orders once a year, and we're at that point. And so, if we delay it till, which we can delay it till mid-year, but it would add 6 more months on top of that year, so make it 18 months.
Right,
From the
and I could
ordering.
understand that and going on, it's just my concern of the revenue that we would be getting in with the shortfall of this
Definitely.
disaster that happened, and I'd rather pay employees than buy a truck.
Definitely.
So that's what I wanted to bring up to the council, to be thinking about that, so, because I know June was half a month, and we were
378.
something like that.
$1,000 off.
300, yeah, so, and that was just for June. So
Well,
I'm
what if
really
we, what
concerned.
if we just postpone this a couple of months, see where we're at?
And that's fine, I'm just really wanting to get a better
that's okay.
picture of, because, we may be doing a lot of cuts come January.
When to get it in on this order, when is the deadline for
End
the
of this month.
end of this month? Because I know that's what we're working on, the legislation to have revenue replacement GRT, but that won't come into effect until after the legislative session, and it won't go in until, Lord knows,
July
Maine,
1.
yeah.
Of 20,
Or 5 years or so.
And I know we did this during COVID too. We were proactive on that portion. As much as I'd like to have that truck, because I know solid waste has one very similar that's handy.
and that's my concern, I mean, if it's something that it's absolute,
Yeah,
I
we're
would
currently-
prioritize a police car over the truck, I guess is what I'm getting.
We're currently
to.
putting a lot of money into keeping our current flatbed going.
Right.
We've replaced the clutch in it several times. We've replaced several parts of it multiple times.
And that's like a 90s model, isn't it, or?
2000,
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
2000 model.
and the bed is in pretty bad shape.
Right.
So what's your opinion? That's what I hear him asking is, do you think, how critical is it, do you think?
I mean, I believe it's pretty critical for us. It's something that we use a lot. I mean, hauling material and things like that.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
If we do need to delay it a year, I mean, we're here for the betterment of the village, not just for our department. So I
Well,
completely understand that, but
I appreciate what Counselor Solis is saying, because I'm getting a lot of feedback from our citizens that, we need to prioritize, and I totally agree.
But how does this help? I mean, this could help our, the employees. I mean, so if we don't get this, do we need extra employees to?
No, we'll just have to maintain the existing vehicles.
When in this month will we have a good outlook of what the, let's see, June, July,
15th, 16th of the month, 17th.
15th?
But they was late this last time.
Mayor Crawford, Counselor Eby. So usually the GRT comes in around the 16th. However, this last month, it was like a week and a half short or late. And so we didn't know. But I'm assuming it's going to start, our GRT has already started decreasing. And it was, the last allocation in August was for June sales. I think we're going to just start seeing more and more decreases, because now this is when the racetrack was open, so there used to be a lot of people in town.
Yeah.
And I know there's some talk in the, around town that a lot of businesses aren't coming back, maybe, and stuff like that. And now that they're gonna, that plaza where Slotchki's closed down and stuff, so I just think
Do
our
what?
GRT is gonna start going.
Where'd you hear that?
It was closed the other day, Slotchki's,
Slotchki's? Slotchki's?
yeah.
Was, the whole deal was closed?
I saw a few of the stores closed, and so I didn't know if that was a permanent
I
thing
think-
because of the
No,
back.
That's
that
just
was-
Labor
no,
Day.
This
that's-
week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was.
No, I don't know where y'all are getting on this. I've talked to a bunch of them and they're watching it. They're
Okay.
cutting back, but I've heard of a couple of businesses that don't know if they're gonna be, but almost everyone I've talked to have secured loans. They just haven't
Oh, okay.
taken them.
Okay.
So I don't know where everybody's hearing, abandoning ship yet. I haven't heard any of that. And I do know that it's gonna be down, but let's keep it in perspective. The number that we got in June was equivalent to 2022 numbers. Okay, that's how much we've grown.
Right.
In 2 years.
But the
So-
problem is that we used 4.2 million of.
Yeah, we
cash.
all
Yeah.
get that, and we're supposed to be getting that back.
No, that was just our regular reserve to balance the 25 budget.
Budget.
And that didn't include any rollovers. So my issue is, we've already spent almost $2 million on the fire that was out of that same cash reserve. So if we don't get that money back within the next 6 months or stuff, that's just 2 million out the door. And then if we don't have GRT coming in, how am I gonna make up that 4 when I've already spent 2? And then if I'm down 10% in GRT, how are we gonna make that up? My suggestion would be freeze all vacancies right now. Anything that's not hired would be frozen. Number 2 would.
Except
delay-
for in the water department, and you guys
Yeah.
gotta have somebody, we got people saying we need to fix the parks, we need to do this, and we don't have anybody to do it, so those will have to be hired.
And then you'd have to delay capital outlay, and then the third is would have to start cutting department budgets.
Well,
Now, it just depends on how far proactive do we want to
I
be?
mean,
Do you want to
it's-
start doing that now, or do you want to wait 6 months when we're already halfway in and then try to cut?
I think this just reinforces Counselor Solis's concerns.
My question is there any way that, to say at the council meeting that you approve it, but with contingent upon the review of financial and the mayor after you get a good look at the financials to say whether you two say it's feasible?
For the
I
dump truck?
think he's saying he's gotta have it in by the end of the month. I don't know that we're gonna know that much more than we know now. It's all going, to put the brakes on and hold what we got, and then I just know I know you got some people in process right now to help to get them, but as far as, I know you gotta have somebody at the convention center, because we've got conventions booked, and they're shorthanded with everybody quitting and retiring or whatever.
How many quit?
Well, you had Filbert quit, and then, there's 2 there, Luis and, David, and he's hurt, his knees and stuff, so.
And Mayor and Council, once we, the 16th, once we receive the GRT, the distribution report, and then we'll get together and we'll start working on that.
Well,
I won't even have.
put this
Yeah.
on regular so we can have some discussion on it.
And then we probably won't have a clear picture of GRT for the year or even a good projection until like October or November to
That's
see
why
what,
I was saying January, looking at mid-year of all of our,
because then we'll have
I'm
it.
just talking general fund.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
general
You
fund,
know,
yeah.
and that's where we have a better picture of where we're at.
And then we were talking about the estimate of losses, what I've been working on. We found out that there was 300 accounts that have been turned off because of fire and 13 because of the flood. So out of
Multiply that.
enterprise, there's 313 monthly bills that we won't be getting or earning. And we did set the property rate at the 1.5, and I still haven't got the assessor's estimate. We got a estimate from Judge Potter, and it was saying that it was like $27 million was the total loss. So we're
Where
good
did
at,
he get that?
I'm not sure how he got a spreadsheet of.
Well, that was through the school district, and where they were, the backpack program, they were working through a lot of, that's what I understood, but I could be wrong.
And
But
so
I
he
know
had a
it's
loss figure
about that
that we
much.
used, and we were good with the 1.56, so we're.
And what she's talking about is on our GO bonds, to be able to cover that, we were
Yes.
looking at having to bump that up, and so we were working with George and,
So on the property tax, the assessor has to send in his rates in June, and then whatever those values are is what they set the property tax rates are. So because of the fire, those figures won't be in the property tax rates that they set now in November. So we've been talking to the state, and next June, when he hits with the losses in it, then everybody's property tax rates are gonna go up.
So all of us pay for what's been lost?
yep. this is all on the downside. On the positive side is, I just got a call from Frank, DOT, when you call him afterwards, but all the debris removal, all of that construction, all the stuff that's getting ready, it's already in process, then we'll get the GRT off of that. So we hope to start catching up. That's just the optimistic path through. You
Yep.
know, we haven't got there yet, but
So that's why we need to start on our construction projects if we can as soon as possible so that we can pump our own GRT into the economy.
Are we starting, I know this is early, people, are they starting to rebuild?
well, they're starting, what we're getting a lot of, and I talk to Mike all the time, about permitting and plans and floodway, floodplain.
Right?
And so H&H hydrology and hydraulic studies have already been started. The floodplain people have already started. And so those were the funds that we're going to have to be going for. But yeah, we've got people that are wanting to. I don't know if really anybody that has. Do you have anybody that's turned in plans, Stephanie? Not really?
Not quite. We've had more questions
Yep.
about how we would be doing that, so I think they're kind of holding off before they start
Yeah.
rebuilding their flood districts and getting engineering.
Because some of them still haven't even gotten their debris off their property.
No.
So, going back to your truck, you might want to wait. Probably going to be the consensus there, I think.
Yeah, I hate to tell you that, Matthew, and I'm always biased to Parks and Rec and stuff, but man, looking at the big picture, like I said, I'd rather pay employees and
So just as a, on good news, because I know he's going to end up holding off a little bit, but just in the good news, we did have our FEMA scoping meeting on Friday. Our list is done as of this morning, and so we'll be turning that into the state for that 50% upfront item. I know we are always hesitant to see how much that is. We're hoping to get anywhere between 7 and 10 in the next 2 weeks, million.
Right.
That's what we're hoping up front to be able to put into the coffers. Again, that's suggested time frame, what we're working with, but I know there's a concern about money, just in case that's what we're trying to push for on the backhand, so that we can get or on the backside, so that we can have those funds in place, so that we don't have to go into stuff like this.
What
But
makes us think that we're going to get that when we're still waiting?
Well, it's a whole process. You know, it's the application, just like at the bank, you put it in, it goes to,
Right.
that's where we're finally getting to these, is the processes, the approvals, and then, because we never knew what amounts are. We still don't know what a lot of amounts are, because the engineering hasn't been completed because of the monsoon.
Yes, sir.
So some of these things are making that progress, so that's what makes us think that now then that they've gone through the processes, and they're forecasting this is what we're gonna be paying this part.
And Councilmember Letterman, just on the side, one of the things that I don't think was available prior disasters that we have now, when we worked through McBride, Eric learned very quickly what that process was.
Yes.
And from that point to this point, he instituted an entirely new approach. So as of now, even Adam and we were out in the field, everything that took us months to get into the system is already in the system. It's already done and turned in. And FEMA took months to evaluate. They did it this weekend. And so they got it back to us. So they're willing to push as hard as they can. That's the only reason we think it'll be a faster process.
So what money is that coming from? The
That's
70?
the 70 million that the state has.
Okay. Judy's is the one that we've already spent that they're supposed to pay
The
us back.
1.8.
1.8, that we were told that we were coming, it was coming, and
Yeah, we still haven't,
receive.
the grant agreement, so we're still working on that.
So there's two 1.8.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
well, one is that was for the bridges, which they've now said we can spend on whatever.
So the 1.8 that I'm talking about is the money we've paid for South Fork already out of our cash reserve. We still have another 1.8 grant agreement with DHSEM that was to cover our share on bridges and the sewer line. So that 1.8 is the one that we've been waiting on a grant agreement for what, 2 years? a year and
Year and a
18
half,
months?
yep.
Year and a half?
Oh, I thought we already got, we didn't
No.
receive that. No.
And right now, we're going through reconciliation and closeout on the sewer line and the design of the bridges. So, we need that money pretty quick, because once we close out those projects, we have to
Gone.
show that we've paid our share.
And what they're talking about is what do you call it? Deobligate, well, whatever, those bridges, take it
Yes.
out of the DHR, whatever, and put it on this new one.
Yes.
And we were a little apprehensive about that, but they said this is the way we'll get all the new bridges. We were at the town hall on, what day was that? Wednesday. I don't know if y'all saw that, but they made a lot of bold promises to people. DHSEM said all those bridges are going to be done. They're going to get this, that, and the other done. The guy from FEMA. So it seems like they're more focused on what we had before. And to Mike's point, when Eric got here, he was still having meetings all day long in the back with FEMA folks about getting this stuff paid for.
Right.
And then working with John Moon and Jean. Jean, with FEMA, she and those two really put all that together to get that done. All that's been smoothed out now, so.
And Mayor Crawford, members of the council, on the 1.8 capital outlay funding that we were awarded, I spoke with Wesley Billingsley, he's the DFA director. He's also looking at possibly Department of Homeland Security and DFA do a memorandum of agreement where they would be the fiscal agent, move the funds over, and then we would just work directly with DFA. So
Yes.
we're looking at options.
And Mr. Mayor, just for the point of being heard, I think a lot of this comes down to the people that are in the positions that they're in and are making the phone calls and making things happen. It is different than it was maybe in 2008.
Totally. And it was way different than, 2008's a different world. And then it's even different than 2022 when McBride was here.
And I really appreciate all the hard work. I know that all of you spend so much time on the phone, but until we get that money, it's the same. We're still waiting for 2008, so it's very hard for me I'm optimistic, but until we get that money, it's totally the same. And it upsets me that they make promises to our citizens, and our citizens are looking at us saying, well, what the heck are you doing?
Well, that's why we had them there. Because we're repeating everything we hear in these meetings, and people are like, well, I thought you said, and it's like, we want you here to hear what we're doing, because, and I keep using a bank deal, because you can go and you're supposed to be able to get it, and it's just like we ask on FEMA, on the SBA, because there has been 10 million awarded, 9 million of that's in Lincoln County on SBA commercial loans, but only 2 point whatever's been taken advantage of. And then when I'm talking to the different businesses, they've got it here, and they're holding off to see if they need it, because they don't even, you can draw it down. It's almost like a line of credit, and you don't make a payment for a year after you've taken your first draw. So they're kind of gauging it. And a lot of the businesses we've talked to, it's picked up significantly, and some way more than others. So we'll have to see, because we had these same conversations, if you remember, during COVID. And then once we started moving back in that direction, things went back to better than what it was on revenue. So I know that it's still different, but I think Ruidoso always has a great history of coming back quick on, even when the oil bust over the years and the economy and the recession, Ruidoso was last to take part in it and then first to recover.
In the
So we'll
fall,
see.
with the fall, we do have a lot of visitors, so hopefully that'll continue.
And I was surprised, even with all the alerts that we got at the track, nobody got up and left. People are learning,
Yeah.
to deal with it, so we'll see. But I think caution is the key, being prepared. Okay, so we'll put that on hold. Do we even need to have it on the agenda?
No, we'll just,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. And on a positive note, that's the first time I think we've said no in about 4 or 5 years. Spoiled little brats, that's. Okay, discussion on item number 11. DC, you gonna do this one? On Ruidosa Police Department policy for body-worn cameras, outside employment, and retiree firearm buyback.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So these are in continuation of reviewing and updating our policies for the department. The three that are in there, the body worn cameras was the biggest one and one of the most important. That's basically updating it to today's standards and staying in compliance with the state statute requiring law enforcement to wear body worn cameras. The second one is an outside employment. And basically that, all that does is it mirrors the village policy for outside employment, but it also, we're just putting it into our policies also. And finally, the third one is a new one for us. And it's one that I've been trying to work on for a little while. And that's basically a retiree firearm buyback for anybody that's worked for the department for a minimum of 10 years and retires in good standing. And it allows them through an FFL we would basically sell the firearm to the FFL for an agreed price to be able to replace it for the department as an equipment replacement, and then they would be able to buy that back from the FFL through proper procedures.
For the cost?
At whatever the agreed upon cost is, but usually it's at fair market value or similar.
And who sets that? The FFL?
The FFL. And it can be basically, I mean, whatever we sell it to them for, or whatever they agree to buy it from us for. And then if they choose to add fees for background checks or anything else, then that would be between the retiree and the FFL.
Okay.
Mayor, DC, what were the changes on the body worn camera? Were they significant? Was that what was in red?
Yes, so there were some, so this policy actually kind of mirrors a policy coming out of Rio Rancho, as they are municipally accredited. And so I modeled their policy and I made a few edits and they were the ones in red that kind of fit us a little bit more.
Sure.
And kind of hit some of the verbiage that's in statute a little bit better. Our last policy was in 2015, and that was just after the statute came out, around that time when the statute came out requiring us to wear them. So this just kind of updates it and kind of fills in a couple of gaps that might have been in there and just kind of make sure we're following it pretty close.
And so we struck out while we're at court hearings.
So there's always if you're on duty, anything could happen and you could always be responding to that. Now, I don't know how courts are as far as being able to carry cameras inside of courts. I mean, they're court hearings and sometimes they may or may not allow.
Well, they're always permissible unless they're not. That's what I was told, because
I think there's a rule that says you just have to give the court 24-hour notice or something.
Is that what it is?
Record.
Now, inside court hearings, obviously, those are typically video recorded anyways. I know district courts are. I don't know about the magistrates and others. I think the concern there is whether or not you encounter something while en route to the court or to something like that. Typically, a lot of the guys carry them. When we're moving to a new system, we're trying to get that up and running. But typically, they can be charged in their vehicles. So it's not that they wouldn't necessarily have access to them if they were driving. It may just be that they're not wearing them on their person at that moment in time while they're going to a court hearing.
Any questions? And there'll be some changes, I know, to this after the chief in Albuquerque, that issue that went on.
And there may be, and it would maybe.
Yeah, that's going to be, that'll be forthcoming, but yeah.
Right.
Can I ask DC a question?
Sure.
That's not related to this? This weekend, the light at the police, what I was wondering, I'm not criticizing, I'm just asking.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's at the police department. Why did that take so long to get that flashing instead? Because, I mean, those lines were long. Honestly, I even ran it. So.
She what?
She ran it. Get it. Get it.
She admitted, I'm a witness.
I did. So I was just wondering, what is the procedure? Wouldn't a police officer say, hey, we need to get this taken care of?
So it's my understanding, and it was brought to my attention over the weekend also, and I responded because I had noticed that had been running longer. Now, I think it was a kind of a combination of all things with the light being longer. We also had a lot of people in town.
Yeah, we did.
I didn't know until I actually pulled up to it, I timed it, and it was almost 2 minutes that it took for it to change for north and south. So after Counselor Salas brought it, I mean, it was in a text message, and I added and said that we can flip those to flashing if need be, and I noticed they did. However, it really didn't alleviate the issue too much because now it was still backing up. It was just kind of a steady stream. But after conversations, and I've already talked to Adam about it too, but because those are actually on state highway, we have to have them, I think it's the engineer come down and actually redo those. They have to do studies, look at it and retime them. But we're in the process of fixing that now, so that will be addressed and we'll get that taken care
I
of.
appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know the procedures.
I'm not sure what happened because it used to run really well.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it's during the power outages or anything that happened that kind of changed it, but it did kind of go the other direction.
And that used to happen, remember at Center and Sutter, we used to
Yeah,
have that.
that'd be-
Oh, my goodness.
Big time. there.
Finally got that squared away.
And you're not alone, Susan? Because I ran it too.
So nobody knows.
Actually, and because the truck, and what I did notice, it activates something because I went around on the turning lane to the post office, went around the truck in front of me. And when I looked back, it was like about 2 seconds or a second, then it turned green. But we had been sit there for about a minute.
Yes.
But I've had people calling me, what's going on? And I was giving all the excuses I could think of. Oh, there's animals on the road or whatever like that.
And your response wasn't too far off because when I came into town, not only was it the light, it was flashing at the time, but it still backed traffic up, but then there were some elk on the side. And
So it
it was
was
kind
all,
of, it was a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
but
Thank you very
it was
Where do y'all want it?
regular.
Okay. Thank you, DC.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Discussion on
much.
dissolution of the Sierra Blanca Regional Airport Advisory Board and removal of board members.
What happened?
So, as y'all know, when put this committee together with the master plan out there and got people that were interested in it. Basically, what has happened is it was running afoul of rules, getting off of agenda, abusing our employees, going 2 hours, 3 hour long meeting, making motions to fire employees, things of that nature. And I tried dealing with these guys, and so we were at the Legislative Finance Committee meeting, and I got word what was going on. By the time I got back, it'd just been a cluster, so Jenny had asked to shut that meeting down. And if this was just the first time, maybe we could have talked through it, but this has gone on and on and on with these guys. And they didn't understand or wouldn't take the time to understand how we budgeted, where the money came from, how things were working, that they were under ideas and suggestions. And then basically what I got tired of was the abuse to the staff. And so anyway, so the way it works is I suggested them, y'all confirmed them. So I'm suggesting this and having y'all push them off the board. And I'm not going to be here next week. So
Oh, yeah.
I would have.
Thank you very much.
I would have don't get me wrong, I'll be live and on Zoom.
I'll be with you in spirit.
But I'll be at the Albuquerque Fairgrounds for the state fair. Village of Ruidoso's being highlighted, and I've been asked to be in the Grand Marshal and in a convertible antique fire truck. And I've asked Smokey Bear to be there with us. And so it'd be Tracy and I, and they just said they wanted to highlight Ruidoso, that they listen to our show every Monday, and that they stay in tune with what's going on, and they just want to keep us in the spotlight. So I'll be there on that Tuesday. So
We'll
anyway,
know that Mayor Pro Tem will do great.
yeah.
Since I'll be running the meeting, I'll suggest consent, Mayor.
That'll be good. So consent?
I prefer.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to make a deal out of it. It's just that it was just getting too far out of hand, and I'm sorry that it got that way, but, I couldn't ever get them to understand. And, we still have a lot of plans out there, still going after things, but it got bad. They were trying to fire Armstrong Consultant at one time, and we just need to get a different contract, and those guys just don't grow on trees. So, anyway, let's go back to the agenda index. So we'll have everything standard. Approval, consent regular items. Approval of governing body minutes, August 6th, 2024, workshop. August 6th, the ICIP Town Hall meeting. August 12th, 2024, regular meeting. September the 3rd, today's workshop meeting. Item number 2, approval of request to schedule public hearing on Article 4, Flood Hazard Regulations, Section 54, 327, basis for establishing area of special flood hazard with compliance with article and other regulations. So do we have any more specifics on that? Okay. So is this working along with what's been going on H&H and all that right now, or?
Yes, sir, so it'll basically copy the map.
Uh-huh. And this is one where everybody's talking about building permits, and this is trying to tighten this down?
Yes, sir, so it's officially adopting the regulations that we're recommending, on the high water to high water, but it's also, being able to have a map in front of everyone, so that everyone can see the impacts of where, as we mentioned before, there's some impacts in some areas that are gonna be significant, and then there's other areas that actually don't have an impact at all. And so we want to make sure anyone knows when they do start to rebuild what that looks like. And we're hoping to have the map.
By council.
Okay, and, because everybody's asking about like Foxworth, and we've been in a lot of communication with those guys, because they're wanting to put a bunch of money into it, bring back a lot of employees, but, they're wanting to know what's gonna be done and how it's gonna be forwarded. Also, Cherokee Mobile Park, Upper Canyon's a big one, Lord knows Park Canyon, so.
And they're cleaning Cherokee, by the way, right now.
Excellent, that was fast, great,
They're
good work.
doing what?
There was
Cherokee.
just a phone call to pick up some more debris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a text early this morning from the manager. We're working with those guys, so I sent it to Michael, and he said it's already being done, so. Any other questions on this?
So actually, you said the map will be ready by council. Are you talking about Thursday when the notice and all that goes out, or by council
I'm
meeting?
hoping by council meeting. I am pushing very hard. It's just as fast as my computer can run at this point,
And I understand that, because I think, can we do that?
So Mayor and Council, first of all, the language is going to be amended to include, I guess, adoption, if you will, of the interim floodplain map.
Okay.
This is just a request to schedule a
Okay.
public hearing.
Yeah, because y'all didn't.
Information, there will be some attachments. If she has it ready, she can, but it's just to request. So it will be actually discussed at the public hearing in October.
Correct. And the map was recommended by Heath and by FEMA that it has to be adopted by the governing body. That way we can actually move forward with that map.
Right.
If it's not adopted, we still have to stick with the 2014 map, and it has definitely changed. So this is just an interim map until they can get it back out there, survey, and make new firms.
Okay.
That's the final H&H study that they'd be concluding in the next 18 months.
So if we get your map, then we can go ahead and see, okay.
So one question I have, Ashley and Michael, is this something that, should the interim floodplain map be a separate item for consideration apart from the public hearing? Because that won't even be considered till October.
It should be adopted the same time that this new ordinance goes into.
Yeah, no, it should be part of the package.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay. In case any of the public asks, it's part of a package to be considered in October.
Okay. Public input, Then presentation of new employees and promotions. Thank you, guys. We'll have that working. We have, will we have a couple in Parks and Rec by then?
I think we'll have at least one.
At least one? Okay.
Be good.
And then presentation of retirement plaque to Joel Rowland for the Village of Ruidoso as an operator for LB for Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant from October 2021 through 2024. So you'll get to do the retirement plaque. And then we'll have the, what?
Yeah.
On the Wingfield Heritage House Museum ribbon cutting.
Mayor, is it okay? Are you okay with that Thursday to be there at 12?
Yep.
Okay.
And I think they did that for me because I'm supposed to speak somewhere in town that day. And that's going to be Thursday, the what?
It's Thursday, the 17th.
Of October.
Of October. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you had told me that Rotary, but
Yeah.
Rotary's Tuesday.
Yeah, so I may be totally, I was off base on that.
Okay, so I just wanted
But
to.
if we want to move it up, it's up to you. But maybe at lunch, everybody, or
That's what we thought, maybe the greeters could be there more if it was
After.
around lunch, and then we'll have it from 12 to 4.
we have some snackies.
Yes, and October the 17th is a Thursday.
Okay.
So, and I'll get out, I'm gonna get invitations out, so we'll get invitations to all of you, plus all of our donors, and some special, Tim Roberts and, people that have helped us, the architect and White Sands, and so if you think of somebody that maybe Susan hasn't thought of,
Okay.
let me know, and,
Is Stephanie freaking out?
no, we're gonna, yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
And so is Susan. I'm like, oh, God. So, but we'll be working hard on that and that'll be, I'm really excited.
Because it's been a while,
Yes, it has.
long time. So anyway, that'll be exciting. And you have the village manager's report. Is there anything special? Just let Ron know what you're going to want to hear. And then you'll have,
I would
regular-
like to hear, maybe Bobby come and just give us an update on properties.
okay? And if you can, on the property up behind K-Bob's, the ones that they were taken away from their house and it was repoed, and yes, and that there's a bunch of kitty cats and the building, we were gonna get Dave Myers over there to look at the property to see if it need to be condemned. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. Okay. And then, anything else? Okay,
Mayor and council, there may be some additional items added. The ZIA transportation contract is coming due the end of September, and I know Anthony and Michael are working with them. They have a new chief financial officer, and Anthony's waiting on her to submit the correct documentation to renew this contract. So you may see that. And then the agreements with HF Sinclair, which was Holly Frontier and Roper for aggregates, is coming due, and Lisa and Josh are working with both of those companies as to whether or not there's going to be an increase in the pricing. If there's an increase in the pricing, then you will see those agreements on the agenda. And then, is there a capital projects award and contract?
Good morning. We just went out for a bid, and there's a company out of Las Cruces that was our low bidder. It's going to be for the water line erosion project at the Winter Park. It's eroding away behind our commingled line, so this will compact in around the line and also put in a storm drainage.
okay. And if you might, just for FYI for the community, get an update in there about Ski Run Road.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, it was working, it got washed out, and then it's, you're off.
Thought about possibly having Francisco here to,
Okay,
I'll visit with him and see if he's able to have a presentation.
okay.
What is the status, Ron, of the road?
They have been, now, Mayor Crawford, Councilor Corey, they've been working on it for last 3 weeks. They did have I believe like 100 feet of damage
Yeah, again.
last week with some of the flooding. They have committed that they'll have it open by the ski season. But I'll see if Francisco can attend and he can give an update on that.
And they're they're.
Are they?
Yep, and we're just waiting on the barriers as we are on all of our temporary bridges.
Yeah, the mayor and I, we delivered some,
I don't know what those are called, some kind of
what do they call Adam? I always forget. We brought those vertical panels.
vertical panels to put over there because we had a little accident on Second Bridge. And it would be nice if, after Ally from DHSEM was talking about the commitment on the bridges, I know that we're see if we can get in process the engineering, if we know what's happening on that. Okay. Anything else?
We got closing session items.
Yep, you'll have closed session items, and then if y'all can give them an update, and hopefully we'll have a conclusion by then to move forward on an issue we've been talking about for a while. Anybody?
No?
Okay, Alex, I expect to hear a lot more from you here pretty soon, buddy. You just smiling? No pressure. All right, well, that concludes today's agenda. This meeting is adjourned.
All right.
I won't be here for the September 25th chapter rewrite.